it out over Sean Cansdale, and Trent will meet up with Andy Irons in round 4. And now out in the water, our California kid, Bobby Martinez out of Oxnard, up against the Brazilian animal, Peterson Rosa.
So this Bobby's actually from the west side of Santa Barbara, west side boy.
Santa Barbara, excuse me.
And he is going against the animal.
I was thinking of the Kearns.
Peterson Rosa, a very savvy competitor, but nonetheless, we are into heat number 11 here, and we are burning through these heats pretty quickly. I'd like to welcome you, spectators online around the world, as we start this heat with Bobby Martinez and Peterson Rosa here at Mundaka in 2006.
We've already talked a lot about our 2006 Foster's ASP World Tour rookie, Bobby Martinez, sitting 7th in the world currently. And Peterson Rosa at 31st right now. Now, it was funny because earlier on in the year, Peterson had actually announced that he would be retiring at the end of this year. And then I heard him in an interview with GT earlier on saying that he really needed to get a good result here to push him back up into the top 27 so he could continue on next year. So little conflicting reports from Peterson as for...
Well, the animal, the animal's not going to go away easily. They don't call him the animal for nothing. He's a fearless competitor, and, the next event being in Brazil, and then obviously at Pipeline, he's not scared of big waves. So, I'm sure he'll have a go at it, and it is really close there towards that part of the ratings, all the way from about 23 on to 33. It's that whole in that 10 placings of the World Tour ratings. It's really close, as you can see on screen. Peterson Rosa putting together a series of nice backside turns, Dave,
of animalistic backside off the tops and off the lips. And it said on screen that he's 38th in the world. He's actually 31st on the official ASP ratings list, currently tied with Jake Patterson. Possibly the 38th seed coming into the event. Now that was Rowney Montero. And actually Peterson, a bit to everyone's surprise and even himself, actually won, I believe, his round 1 heat. I'm just trying to find it in here to move through directly to round 3 without passing by
So we
2.
have, you got to think, we do have 3 people below Chris Ward still in the event. Chris Ward being number 27 on the World Tour ratings and losing out in round number 3. We do have Trent Monroe, who just advanced below Chris Ward. We have Jake Patterson yet to surf, and we do have Pancho Sullivan, who's actually 2 places above him. So, the ratings are getting tighter, and the pressure is on.
Especially with just 2 events left after this one. Brazil, which, all the guys more or less consider to be the kind of small wave event on tour, and then finishing off with a bang at Pipeline, the Rip Curl Pro Pipeline Masters. So 2 very, as Nick Carroll would say, disproportionate events coming up to finish off the season, and the guys are really going to have to get their small wave game in gear for Brazil, and then their barrel game and get the guns out for Pipeline.
Yeah, it's gonna be a doozy of a final here, final few events, and talking about Bobby Martinez, who's in this heat currently. He set the world on fire when he won Tahiti earlier. Just kind of caught everyone off, by surprise. And the boy
caught himself by surprise as well with Fred Patacci. Those 2 of them were like, "We're in the final, dude. Let's do it."
Yeah, I think the boys caught up in there earlier, and we'll wait and see. Let's check out what Bobby had to say about Tahiti.
I mean, the win was great. I've always, dreamed of winning. For it to come true was cool. But I mean, it doesn't mean nothing now. At the last 3 events, I've done really bad, and I mean, I've had like major ups and downs, this year. The biggest high I could ever get from surfing an event to losing the very first round and being completely bummed. So it's been like, I've felt everything that, winning and losing when you, when you don't want to lose. And but I mean, yeah, I didn't know what to expect coming into this year, and I'm glad things have turned out how they were, and I hope
Well, there we go. We listened to the last of Bobby's words as we watched Peterson Rosa paddle back out to the lineup. Peterson's first wave of 5.17, followed up with a quick in and out for 1.77, and Bobby's first wave of 4.0. And I believe we have the replay of first of red, current world number 7, Bobby Martinez. Let's bring that to you now. Okay.
Well, it's always good to hear, you know, those humble words from Bobby Martinez, and sometimes I wonder if the kid even knows how good he is.
Very true. Just to give you an idea, 33-17, 33 in the last event.
Well,
Here's
Trent,
GT.
business-like efficiency out there. Well done.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't too many waves, but I made most of the ones I got, so yeah, it was pretty close in the end.
Now well, speaking of the end, you got that. There was that kind of a three-wave set. You got the first one with priority, held them off, but there was one behind it. Does that ever? Can you ever be relaxed in those situations?
Well, I mean, I knew it was coming down close to the end of the heat, and you know, you don't know. Usually there's probably 3 waves in the set here, but the way it is today, you just don't know. So I really couldn't give up one wave of the set, so I just had to make the most of what there was.
And in terms of, you know, your current ranking, you have to love this now. Kind of, it's a definite keeper for you in terms of your overall year.
Yeah, I mean, it's you know, equal with the best result I've got for the year. I mean, hopefully I can just keep going from here and yeah, be standing there at the end.
We'll look forward to seeing that happen, brother. Congratulations into the 4th round. So with business-like precision, Trent Monroe takes down Sean Cansdell and a well-served heat and a little bit of tactics at the end. Back to you guys in the tower. Thanks, Trent. Thanks, brother.
Front side attack, because sometimes looks like the goofy footers get a little bit farther out on the wall. They aren't in quite the critical part of the wave, so plenty of speed there, but a lot of kind of flat snaps. We didn't see a whole lot of vertical surfing from Bobby until maybe the end of that wave.
Yeah, I think that Bobby looked like he was concentrating on making it down the line, but you know, he did get a nice tube through the outside section of that wave, and then his first turn after the barrel looked pretty snappy and vert, and then he kind of ran through that middle end section and then got a couple moves off towards the end, but I know that he did go farther than any other person yet today on a wave.
The longest wave of the day and the best wave score of the day, Dino, you're absolutely right, a 9.0 on that last wave of Bobby Martinez, and a 6.17 for last of yellow Peterson Rosa. So Bobby taking the lead with a 9.0 and a 4.0. Second is yellow, the Brazilian surfing animal, Peterson Rosa, now needing a 6.84. So for reference, a 6.17 was his best wave score. That's on his last wave. Now needs a 6.84. And you can hear the boys frantically trying to bring up the replays.
Well, you know, you got to think Peterson Rosa did have priority at that point when that exchange went down. He chose the first wave, which could really come back to haunt him in this heat. I mean, had he paddled over that first one, he would have been on Bobby Martinez's wave. And Bobby Martinez went on to a whole different bank way down the line on the sandbar and had much more potential for a big score, David, you know, in that exchange.
Well, we are about a half an hour into the incoming side of the high tide, so that's about the time that we usually see those inside sections starting connect. Bobby obviously has been watching the conditions and maybe listening a little bit to Nick Carroll's advice. It's the 3rd wave of the set. It's the 3rd wave of the set. He's been repeating that all through the week. 3rd wave of the set's the wave to go on. That's exactly what Bobby did. Both of them let that first wave go. Peterson picked the second. Bobby got the 3rd and caned it with 20 minutes remaining. So still plenty of action to come, Dino.
That's a very good you know, analyzation from Nick. He's very good at dissecting situations, and you know,
Oh, he's been telling anyone and everyone that'll listen to him, it's the third wave, mate. I'm telling you, it's the third wave. And he hasn't been wrong.
Yeah, he's had plenty of experience at studying waves and surfers in all types of situations, including competitive situations and title races, and it's great. It was great to have him online here, and we'll miss him. He obviously had another opportunity he had to get home for, but Nick Carroll is an awesome guy, and he's really, really smart. He's in the sport of surfing.
Very knowledgeable, yes, indeed, Mr. Nick Carroll, one of the greatest surf journalists out there. It was a pleasure, and if you're not in the plane and you are listening to us right now, Nick, it was great having you. Hopefully we can get the gang back, put the band back together again in the future, and good luck on your endeavors and your upcoming journalistic priorities back in Australia that just ripped you out of Mundaka and out of our hearts at the end of that one. And Bobby is definitely informed. Looks like he's got great boards.
Yeah, I think that he's got everything going on. Obviously, he's got a really good headspace, and he's got all his equipment. And we'll have to wait and see
and as
always, it pans out. But I'm sure that he'll, hopefully we'll see more of Bobby Martinez as this heat winds down, as well as Peterson Rosa. But let's hear what Bobby had to say about his equipment, Dave,
and what he does to prepare for his heats. Bobby Martinez, take it away, Bobby.
Sometimes I may surf before a heat, sometimes I don't. The only thing is I got to be there on time, Other than that, it doesn't matter, I don't go out and party or nothing, the night before. I just keep it cool and just make sure I'm on time for my heat.
Oh, that sounds like pretty easy preparation. Just make sure I don't miss the heat and don't go out the night before. Good advice for all you up-and-coming professional surfers out there.
Well, it seems really interesting, Bobby's approach to interviews too. He seems so humble,
really,
and because he is. He's a very kind-hearted kid, and I think he's just stoked to be here and excited, and man, he's really a treat to watch on the tour, bringing such a different spice to the tour. He's just so much different, Dave. It's amazing to see someone with his background just tearing lips apart.
Oh, it's unreal. I mean, everyone in California has been rooting for Bobby for years to make it into the big leagues on the WCT. Took a long time to even decide to hit the QS. And what was on did he do the QS for 3 years, 4 years?
I think about 5 or 6.
5 or 6 years. So actually struggled on the QS till he finally broke through into the top 44 onto the Dream Tour. And well, his first season out, sitting in the top 10 in the world, current world number 7. That's a pretty good way to start.
Yeah, I think Bobby's approach to surfing heats is it's much better for man-on-man surfing. I mean, the WQS is a grind, and it's a really hard tour. And I'm pretty close friends with Bobby, and I always knew when as we see Peterson Rosa, who's no stranger to heats as well. This kid's a vicious competitor and a really savvy veteran as he posts up 3 big verticals on that wave. And he's keeping his board speed going, whip-whapping around. And if you watch his front foot, he kind of moves up and starts bouncing down the line, waiting for a reform bounce there.
And unlucky to go down on that last backside re-entry. Peterson Rosa, a Brazilian animal. And very talented surfer. Not too much of a kid, though, Dino. I know that we use that as a bit of a generic term.
He's a kid to me.
Kid to you, exactly. Yeah. All right, coming at you right now will be a replay of that last wave of Peterson Rosa. Just a few seconds.
Well, if you watch this, Dave, you can see, he kind of waits at the bottom here for the wave to build up as he's looking to the lip, and bang,
Damn.
Just really attacks that first turn. And this turn, he really attacks that second turn as well, really getting vertical on the wave. This third turn's kind of more on the open face, kind of just more of a fake turn. Not really much wave there to do much on. So he kind of just placed the turn back and forth
Same thing again, just good turns, but just to bring himself back into the pocket.
And right here, as you can see, he kind of rocks up. If you look at his left leg, he moves his front foot up on the board, and right here he tries to, put a little flair into that closeout reentry, and
maybe just pushed a little bit too hard on the tail. And he was looking for a 6.74. He got a 6.27 on that one, so he'll be a bit gutted that he did try and push it maybe a little bit too hard on the tail to finish off that last reentry. But I think the judges were pretty impressed by those first two vertical turns right in the pocket there. So Peterson,
absolutely. I mean, Peterson Rosa needing a 6.74. Had he smashed that last lipper and completed it, he might have been looking at nearly what he needed. But nonetheless, Bobby Martinez is in the lead. And with only one solid score, I mean, he has a backup of a 4.0, but his 9.0 is the difference. I mean, Bobby Martinez, say he gets another 6 or so, it's going to put Peterson Rosa in a serious situation.
In very difficult situation with just under 14 minutes remaining. And, Bobby, I mean, with that 9-pointer, he's out the back, has priority. He's, watching Peterson's waves from behind, hearing the scores from the judges. Peterson's last two waves, Peterson is kind of gaining steam here as we go on, a 6.27, a 6.17. Here he is again.
Well, it looks like he's racing down the line looking for a floater to get around that section, but was unable to meet the open face on the inside section there, Dave.
And with this tide situation, too, you really need to connect it through. There they are, Bobby Martinez and Peterson Rosa. And as Ode Koyatho was saying earlier, to really get those big scores, you do need to be able to link the outside section with the inside section. That is becoming possible now. So, I think Bobby playing the waiting game, but it's good strategy. He's got priority. He knows he's already got a 9 under his belt, and that Peterson's struggling to get any more than a 6 or a 7. So why not wait out the back and
that's Bobby's game. I mean, these man-on-man heats with the priority situations, it's tailor-made for Bobby Martinez. He, no one can get underneath him, hassle him. He knows when he has priority, he can wait and pick his wave, and no one can obstruct it. And he likes to let the surfing do the talking.
All right, and Bobby Martinez, one of the integral parts of his 9.0 is that tube ride at the beginning of the wave. And, of course, we do have the Nixon Tube Time Award. We'll be updating you in every heat as far as the standings in the Tube Time Award. And with a 2.45 second tube, here's Victor Rebus, currently third for the Nixon Tube Time Award. So 2.44 second tube. That is the third longest tube of the event right now, with 2.45 seconds. Tommy Whitaker's in second position with 4.5 second tube, 4.32 seconds, and Parco currently out in the lead with a 4.56. And now we can have a look at Tommy Whitaker's entrance into the Nixon Tube Time Award. This was actually the first wave of the contest, First heat and first wave of the contest. And I believe it was good for an 8.83 for Tommy Whitaker. That was Peterson Rosa kicking out a one out the back.
Well, it looks like Bobby Martinez out the back, Dave, as he's stalling for the barrel. Man, this kid's got some tube skills. It's amazing that, surfing right-hand points for, the better part of his life at Rincon and all those right points in Santa Barbara that, it's amazing his skill, in the barrel on lefts. He just took everybody out in Tahiti. He was coming through sections that were nearly impossible. As you can see, that wave was so small, but he was still pumping down the line.
Well, I guess if you grow up surfing backside all the time, once you do finally get into perfect waves on your front side, you pretty much just have a froth at it, and that's what Bobby's been doing since he got here. And in this heat, his second wave score, a 9.0. That last one, a 3.17. So they have to be clean and long to get the big scores. And that will not be much of an entry into the Nixon Tube Time Award for Bobby Martinez, but currently extending his lead a little bit. Actually, 3.17 on that last one of Bobby's. His two top wave scores, a 9.0 and a 4.0. What's up, everyone out watching us on the World Wide Web? I'm Dave Mailman. This is Dino Andino. The OC boys brought us out from behind the orange curtain all the way to Mundaka in the Spanish Basque Country. And speaking of pits, once again, Dino saying how good Bobby is on his forehand. Well, here's the best backhand and the longest barrel of the event so far from Joel Parkinson. Wow. That was that barrel. Well spoken, Dino. 4.56 seconds for Joel Parkinson. And too bad we don't have the frontal angle from the boat, because you can actually see him just riding over the foam ball at the beginning of that wave. Once again, for everyone who doesn't know what the Nixon Tube Time Award is, this award is very special. The guys with the longest wave of the event wins a one-of-a-kind ceramic player watch from Nixon, which has been created to celebrate the return of this exclusive wave and event. This particular ceramic player has been customized with the finest precious stones that include 3 diamonds, 3 emeralds, and 3 rubies to represent the colors of the Basque Country. Many hours have been put into this piece to create a unique award, which has a value of $10,000 US. That's the first prize for the Nixon Tube Time. Of course, second and third place finishers also get Nixon player watches that are specially engraved to let everyone know that they absolutely got pitted during the Billabong Pro at Mundaka. That's
Man, Nixon's coming up with the goods.
Yeah, Nixon is going off, definitely throwing down the goods here with the Nixon Tube Time Award at the Billabong Pro Mundaka 2006.
Absolutely. And
currently in the water, Dino. Back to the action. Round 3, Heat 11. Once again, Peterson, Rosa out of Brazil. The animal in yellow, and California's Bobby Martinez in the red singlet with 7 minutes and 30 seconds remaining.
As you can see, Bobby Martinez just sitting there waiting, knowing that he has a 4.0 for his backup wave. He doesn't need much to better that score. As we look into the lineup here, looks like Peterson Rose is paddling, Bobby letting him go on that wave, thinking that he wouldn't be able to get the score he needs on that one as that wave funnels down the line. And Peterson Rosa not able to make it down the line, Dave.
No, there's, Dino, we've been seeing it every day. The conditions do change depending on what part of the tide we're looking at. And that one just kind of ran away from Peterson.
So it looks like there's a set out the back here with about 3 or 4 waves on the horizon.
Yeah, Peterson's paddling hard, and Bobby is in position on the peak with priority. So
we'll have to wait and see. Peterson Rosa might be in a really good position to go on this one right here. Kind of on, in a good spot on the point as he goes upside down.
Oh, it goes down again.
Coming unglued there as Bobby Martinez is up and riding out the back, Dave.
Yep, getting plenty of speed down the line. Doesn't want to even think about the tube on that one. Just big carve off the top, another snapback. There's a third turn already from Bobby and a fourth as he connects it through to this inside section. This is what you need to do to put some big scores on the board. And as I say that, Bobby comes unstuck on that one. But
Bobby generating tons of speed through that open face there, and I think his second turn looked like he kind of let off the gas a little bit on it. Had he wrapped it a little more, he might have been looking at a near excellence, near really solid score there. Might have been looking at a mid-range to upper mid-range score. We'll have to wait and see. He'll probably be bettering his score nonetheless. He's carrying a 4.0 at the moment with 5 minutes and 30 seconds remaining. He's probably going to put Peterson Rosa in a different situation than he's already in.
Peterson looking for a 6.74 right now, so if Bobby gets better than a 4.0 on his last one, which the judges' scores are not in yet, let's have a look at this replay, Dino, and see if Bobby is really putting the pressure on Peterson or not.
Well, as you can see, he's just driving off his front foot, just it's amazing how much projection this kid gets. You know, that's one of the interesting things about his surfing. He's a really trajectory type of a style surfer, and right there he kind of carves and kind of lets up a little bit on that first turn. That's the one I was talking about. You know, had he have wrapped it all the way around, kind of like he did on that one, he might have been looking at a really solid score. But nonetheless, he is rewarded with a 6.17. As you can see there, another nice snap. Just so fluent and positive, his surfing, really low. Quite a different approach to his surfing there. You can see his lower body is just really flexible. And he gets a lot of speed for very minimal body movement.
He's got a super low center of gravity and just busts the tail on that one at the end. Little ollie re-entry there for Bobby. Kind of came unstuck, but yeah, Dino, he's incredible to watch. I mean, he just gets so low down on his board and generates so much speed. But you'd think he'd have to be disappointed with that first turn after picking up so much speed. It looked like he wanted to do something better than a little kind of snappy carve off the top, I guess.
Yeah, I think he was more or less just setting up his next turn, you know, and nonetheless, he's just, you know,
putting the pressure on Peterson.
Blistering.
Peterson now needing an 8.91. So Peterson's best wave up till now is 6.27. We saw the 9 from Bobby for that beautiful wave that he just surfed all the way the entire length of the point. And Peterson needs to get something pretty similar to that for an 8.91 to take back the lead with 3 minutes and 25 seconds remaining. It's getting a bit hard for the Brazilian veteran. For the kid, hey, did you ever? You must have had some heats against Peterson back in the day.
Yeah,
you're not that much older than him.
No, I've had some heats against him. He's taken me out a couple of times. I think I might have got him once or twice as well. And you know, he's vicious, man. I mean, the guy can go all day long. I mean, he can run and surf and run and surf and run and surf all day. He's like the Energizer Bunny, just freaking gnarly.
Exactly. And as many of the other Brazilian surfers, also, I believe, very talented in jiu-jitsu. Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, he's
working out.
He's trained up for sure.
Super flexible. You know, geez, looks like the two of them are actually having a couple words out there. Just casual conversation. Which is kind of funny because when you know that Parco and Mick don't even talk to each other when they're in the water for a heat. Who knows? Maybe Peterson's trying to get into his head.
Yeah, you know, I think it's fair to say that I think Peterson Rosa is at a point in his career where he's kind of more relaxed and he can appreciate the good things. You know, and obviously Bobby Martinez is one of them. You know, I think all of Bobby's peers on the world tour are glad to see him here, and they're happy for him. I mean, you know, he's at a level in talent where
he deserves to be where he is.
Yeah, he absolutely deserves it.
It took him so long to get there, I guess, that now that he's there, everyone's super.
You know, and I think honestly as well, I think they're a little bit. They know that they have another player to deal with. You know, it's when they see Bobby Martinez in the draw, and if they're going to meet him at different places in the draw, it's not like, you know, they take anybody lightly, but, you know, he's definitely, you know, on the level of, say, you know, Mick Fanning, Joel Parkinson, you know, Kelly and those guys.
Sure,
he's at that kind of level now, and he's a new guy. You know, if it's right, they're on his, you know, he's going crazy backhand, or if it's front side, he can get tubed, and, you know, he's a really good addition here. And as I've probably rattled on plenty of info on Bobby, you know, obviously I'm a big fan of him, so. Nonetheless.
That's all right, Dino. See everyone, even ex-pro surfers can be fans of the new generation. And great words and great insight from Dino Andino. Plenty of you want to see a replay of Bobby's 9-point ride. We're sorry. We are having a couple technical difficulties with the replays. They should be back with us very shortly. But we'd like to remind everyone that, once again, Billabong, who brought us the first ever event webcast in 1999, is still innovating, bringing us the Heats on Demand button on your homepage of the BillabongPro.com website. All you have to go after this heat is over, go click on Heats on Demand, and they will bring you up every single wave from Bobby Martinez in this heat number 11 of the round of 3. With 15 seconds remaining, this is the last chance for Peterson Rosa, Dino.
Well, as you can see, Peterson Rosa never one to give up in a heat. He's given it his all, just going vertical time and time again on this wave. And out the back, Bobby Martinez is on another beauty of a wave. And it's just one of those heats. You know, Bobby was in rhythm, and Peterson Rosa, you know, was on the wave either in front or in back of Bobby's, you know, good waves. And as Bobby Martinez just blows the tail into reversal there,